August 26, 2025, Port Everglades, Florida. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Hamilton pulls into port. On its deck, the largest single drug seizure in Coast Guard history. 76,000 pounds of illegal drugs, 61,740 pounds of cocaine, 14,400 pounds of marijuana. Street value, $473 million. This cocaine alone contains enough lethal doses to kill 23 million people. This is Operation Pacific Viper, a historic partnership between the U.S. Coast Guard and U.S. Navy. 19 interdictions, dozens of smugglers arrested, hundreds of millions of dollars denied to cartels. And it's still ongoing. Here's what makes this operation absolutely incredible. The Coast Guard didn't just seize drugs. They conducted 19 separate interdictions across the Eastern Pacific and Caribbean, from Mexico to South America, dismantling an entire drug trafficking network. I'm Warfront Alert, and for the next 20 minutes, I'm taking you inside the largest Coast Guard drug bust in American history. You'll see how they track the smugglers, the dangerous boarding operations, why Coast Guard plus Navy partnership is dominating cartels, and what this means for America's drug war. This is American law enforcement at its absolute finest. Let's begin.
Operation Pacific Viper isn't just one ship making one bust. It's a surge operation. Overwhelming force deployed to destroy cartel supply lines. The strategy. For decades, drug cartels have used speedboats and fishing vessels to smuggle cocaine from Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador up the Pacific coast toward Mexico and then into the United States. These routes pass through international waters, areas where no single country has jurisdiction. But under international maritime law, the U.S. Coast Guard can stop, board, and search vessels suspected of smuggling. And that's exactly what Operation Pacific Viper does. The partnership. This operation is historic because it's the first time the Coast Guard and Navy have conducted a joint search operation of this scale in the Eastern Pacific. The players: U.S. Coast Guard, Cutter Hamilton, Legend Class National Security Cutter, Cutter Stone, Legend Class NSC, Cutter Venturous, Medium Endurance Cutter, Cutter Seneca, Medium Endurance Cutter, multiple smaller patrol boats, helicopter squadrons, U.S. Navy, USS Samson, Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, additional destroyers and support vessels, P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft, intelligence and surveillance assets. Why the Navy? The Navy provides long-range radar and detection, helicopter support, intelligence gathering, security in case cartels try to fight back, extended operational range. The Coast Guard provides law enforcement authority, boarding teams specially trained, evidence collection expertise, legal framework for arrests. Together, they create an unbeatable interdiction force. The commander, Admiral Kevin Lunday, acting Commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard, put it perfectly. Hamilton's success sends a strong signal to the cartels. We own the sea. We will defeat them. And Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, she's ordered the Coast Guard to deploy, quote, overwhelming force against the cartels. This isn't catch and release anymore. This is total war against drug trafficking networks. The operational zone. Operation Pacific Viper covers a massive area. Eastern Pacific Ocean, from Mexico to Ecuador. Caribbean Sea, from Trinidad, Venezuela, and Colombia coasts. Over 2 million square miles of ocean. That's larger than the entire continental United States. The timeline. Operation Pacific Viper began in summer 2025 as part of President Trump's expanded counter-cartel strategy. Insert timeline graphic, summer 2025 launch to August 26th record offload. The August 26th offload at Port Everglades was just the first major offload, meaning more seizures are coming. The operation is still active right now. Let's talk about the star of this operation, USCGC Hamilton. The ship, Legend-class national security cutter, the Coast Guard's most advanced, 418 feet long, crew of 120 plus, armament, 57mm gun, close-in weapon systems, .5 cal machine guns. Capabilities, 60-day deployments, helicopter operations, long-range interdiction. This ship is designed for one purpose: dominating the high seas and stopping drug smugglers. The mission. Hamilton deployed for over 2 months on this operation. Think about that. 2 months at sea, away from families, living on a ship, working 12 to 16-hour shifts in dangerous conditions. Why? To protect America. The results? Over those 2 months, Hamilton's crew personally interdicted over 47,000 pounds of cocaine. That's 62% of the total 76,000-pound haul from Operation Pacific Viper so far. One ship, 19 interdictions, 47,000 pounds. Rear Admiral Adam Chammy, Coast Guard's Southeast District Commander, said it best. These men and women put themselves in harm's way time and again to stop the bad guys, apprehend the smugglers, and seize the drugs. This is grueling and dangerous work, and I am extremely proud of them. How interdictions work. Let me walk you through a typical Coast Guard interdiction operation. Phase 1. Detection. P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft or Coast Guard helicopters spot a suspicious vessel. Using radar, thermal imaging, visual surveillance, intelligence from DEA, CIA, or partner nations. They're looking for high-speed boats, go-fast boats, fishing vessels acting suspiciously, semi-submersible vessels, narco-subs, boats on known trafficking routes. Phase 2. Pursuit. Coast Guard cutter or patrol boat moves to intercept. Distance, sometimes hundreds of miles. Helicopter launches to maintain visual contact. Radio contact. This is United States Coast Guard. Heave to and prepare for boarding. Phase 3. Boarding. This is the dangerous part. Small boats, over-the-horizon boats, launch from the cutter with boarding teams. Boarding teams consist of Coast Guardsmen with law enforcement training, weapons, M4 rifles, sidearms, translators, evidence collection specialists. They approach the suspect vessel, often while it's still moving at high speed. Coast Guardsmen leap aboard, sometimes climbing rope ladders in rough seas. Crew is secured, vessel is searched. Phase 4. Discovery. Hidden compartments, false walls, secret fuel tanks converted to drug storage. The drugs are found, wrapped in waterproof packages, often stamped with cartel logos, hidden among fish, cargo, or ballast. Phase 5. Seizure. Drugs are transferred to the Coast Guard ship. Smugglers are detained and zip-tied. Evidence is cataloged, GPS coordinates, photos, and crew statements. Vessel is either sunk, if no value and pose navigation hazard, towed and turned over to local authorities, or scuttled after removing crew. Phase 6. Return to mission. The cutter continues patrol, because somewhere out there, another smuggling boat is loading cocaine in Colombia. The 19 interdictions. Hamilton didn't do this once, they did it 19 times in 2 months. That's nearly 1 interdiction every 3 days for 60 days straight. Each one dangerous, each one requiring perfect execution, each one removing thousands of pounds of poison from entering American communities. The crew, 120-plus sailors away from home for 2 months, living in cramped quarters, working brutal hours. And they did it because protecting America is what they signed up for. No fanfare, no media attention until the offload, just hard work. That's the U.S. Coast Guard.